Welcome back, everyone. It's another episode of Butt Crack Cycle. I haven't been here in a little while. It's been about 2 weeks since my last upload. Actually, this has turned into a pretty busy time of year for me, which is good. Only downside of that just means I hadn't really had the time to come out here to my little shop and work on motorcycles or make any YouTube videos related to bikes. But I did have a little bit of time this morning, so I came out here and I wanted to sit down and just do like a shop talk episode. Really quick, if you're brand new to this channel, my name is Paul. This is my YouTube channel. For the most part, I pretty much just do videos about vintage and older Harley Davidsons. Evo engine and earlier is fairly well the focus of this channel. Sometimes we do branch out into other stuff too, diesel trucks and tractors and farm equipment and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's about old bikes, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I had a fella send me an email earlier in this week, and he is not too far away from me, up in Waxhaw, North Carolina. And he's trying to sell a Sportster right now. It's 2001. And he was asking me, you know, like my thoughts on how he had it priced and what the marketplace was like for selling bikes. Is this a hard time of year to sell bikes? And my response to him was basically, yeah, the winter is the worst time to sell a motorcycle. Wait till the spring and try again. But the point of this and the whole purpose of this episode is to talk about why right now, the wintertime, is the best time to buy an older Harley. You will absolutely get the best deal on anything that has an engine when it's cold. I can't really explain it. I think it's because people are just by nature, impatient. And so they don't want to buy something and then sit on it for 6 months before they can actually use it. But if you have a little bit of patience and you manage to have a little bit of cash this time of year, you can get some really, really good deals on older Harleys. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. As usual, I've brought receipts. I'm going to turn the screen recording on my cell phone, and we're just going to get on Facebook Marketplace and browse through listings of Harleys and just kind of live talk about them. Well, it won't be live when y'all watch it, but it will be my live thoughts in the moment as I'm actively scrolling through Marketplace. It's a weird concept for a video at first, but I've actually done a couple of videos like this, and they've been successful, and people have really liked them, and it's opened up some great commentary down in the chat, in the comments. And so I look forward to seeing what y'all have to say about this. Also, really quick before we jump into the meat and potatoes of this episode, I just wanted to say thanks to everybody who supports this channel, watching this channel, clicking like, writing comments, everybody who's subscribed. If you want to support this channel even more than you already do just by watching it, you can grab some merchandise on my web store, buttcrackcycles.com. I've got t-shirts for sale there, as well as some old Harley parts. It would really mean a lot to me if y'all helped me out over there. This YouTube thing actually does pay some bills around my house, and the web store helps out a lot too, being able to sell shirts and junk on there to y'all versus just relying on ad revenue. So gotta shamelessly plug myself. Since I work for myself, nobody else will promote you more than you promote yourself. Okay, let's jump into this episode. Okay, so I've got my phone, got the screen recorder going. You might notice that sort of this side of your screen is intentionally left blank. And it's because as I'm scrolling through these marketplace ads, I'm going to share the screen recording over here. And, at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about why, just sort of philosophically, I think right now is a great time to buy stuff. And give some thoughts kind of on what I look for when buying a motorcycle, like trying to get a really good deal. But let's jump into this. Let's see what we can find. So I'm also going to sort of talk about my logic and how I browse for bikes on Marketplace. Marketplace is basically the only place I look for bikes. I sometimes get on Craigslist, but Craigslist is kind of dried up in my area at least. Of course, word of mouth is probably the best way to get a really good deal on something, but failing that, cell phone. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're just going to look at what pops up in my suggested Marketplace. This is going to be like, okay, you're probably not going to get the best results unless all you're ever looking for is Harleys. As you can see on my screen right now, we've got boats, dump trucks, chainsaws, cameras, books, tractors. I buy and sell a lot of stuff, and I'm always looking for deals on things. So to try and filter this down, let's just do a general search for Harley. Right away, we've got some good stuff. Let's take a look here at this 1990 Road King Fat Boy. Don't really care for the flame paint job, but hey, for $3,200, I'm sure you could get it cheaper. It says it's a 1990 Road King Custom, 1980s Fat Boy frame, 90s Road King front end, 95 cubic inch big bore Evo engine, cam, cranks and rides. Needs a new clutch basket, bad teeth on ring gear, as well as a new voltage regulator. So, need to be pulling the primary housing off of this one at $3,200. I don't know. I'd probably offer him like $2,500, knowing I'm gonna have a couple $100 of parts in it and like a day's worth of work. Here we've got a 92 Electroglide. It's a nice red bike. Red's a good color. Got the old school, windshield two-tone on the front. This thing looks pretty clean. It's in Lincoln, North Carolina. It's been listed for 2 months. Guy's asking $4,500. New tires, new windshield, rebuilt carb, new intake seals, new throttle cables, fresh 3-hole oil change. Runs and rides great. Clean title in his name. $4,500 firm. Who knows? Maybe you actually show up to look at the thing with $4,000 cash, and you ride away. That looks like a pretty nice, pretty clean bike. Even at $4,500, I don't think that's that too bad of a deal. I will say, when I find something I'm serious in, I hate when people just send a message saying, "Will you take $2,000? Will you take $3,000? Will you take $500? What's your bottom dollar?" If I'm seriously interested in something, I'll actually say, "Hey, when can I come look at this?" And then show up in person, look the bike over in person, make a few notes on things that are wrong with it, and then make a reasonable cash offer. It's a whole lot harder to say no to a man standing in front of you with a fistful of $100 bills than it is to just type back on the computer, "No, not interested." Here's a little blue Sportster for all my Sportster guys. This is a 02. It's a 1200 bike. Seat's torn on it, but the rest of it looks okay. It's not perfect. It's $1,800 though. Will not respond to, "Is this still available?" Yeah, me neither, buddy. 02 Sportster 1200, runs great, clean title, good affordable Harley. 2200, no stupid offers, no trades. Now he's down to 18. If it runs and rides and has a clean title, maybe you get it for $1,500 or so. You really can't go wrong with that. Y'all know I love Sportsters, and the Evo engine Sportsters in particular, I think, are the best buy in all of Harley. You can get one very, very cheaply, like this one we just looked at, and they're very reliable, easy to work on, and fun to ride. And you pretty much could turn that bike around after riding it for a season and get your money back out of it, or maybe even turn a small profit on it. Here's a 95 Sportster, so another little Evo Sportster. This one's red. Doesn't say if it's an 883 or a 1200. My guess is it's an 883. Looks pretty clean. $2,500. Not a whole lot of information there, but hey, might be worth looking at. For our bagger guys, here's an 87 Electroglide. Is that an Electroglide or is it a Tour Glide? Tour Glide Classic, yep. Fishtail exhaust pipes on it. I think that's a pretty good looking bike. Here's one for my Ironhead guys. Got an 80 model XL 1000. Is it perfect? No. Is it a complete bike? Yeah. $2,500. Super E, S&X ignition, runs good, brakes are good, tires are less than 100 miles on them, doesn't leak a drop of oil. Yeah, I don't know if I believe that. It's an Ironhead. Title's free and clear in hand, $2,500 or best offer. Again, probably show up with $2,000 and go home with a good start to an Ironhead project. Here's a Dynaglide. This is a twin cam bike, so this is something I personally probably wouldn't own. Like I said at the start of this video, I'm mostly just dealing Evos and earlier, but $5,200, best offer, detachable windshield, saddlebag, runs and rides as it should. Service battery and tires are about a year old. Looking through these pictures, hey, if that's what you're into and you can live with the twink, it's probably not a bad bike. Here's one for my bagger guys. It's a 85 FLHT. So this is the first full year of the Evo engine in the big twins. Doesn't look like it's in bad cosmetic shape looking through our pictures here. The listing is fairly vague, but it just says needs work, puking oil out of crankcase vent. There's a lot of things that could be. Maybe this thing needs a complete rebuild. Maybe it just needs a new breather gear. Maybe somebody put a breather gear in and they timed it incorrectly. Maybe something's just clogged. Who knows? This might be a really good deal on a bike that someone with a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of time, some tools could fix pretty easily. Maybe you go offer this guy $2,000, $1,900 or something like that, and you have an absolute steal for a bagger. So now that we've kind of just browsed looking for Harley in general, a lot of times what I'll do after that is start typing in specific models or you know, year ranges or things like that. So let's just try FXR. I love FXRs. They're one of my favorites, and sometimes you can find a real good deal on FXR, especially right now when it's cold and everybody's sitting inside. Here's an 86 FXRS. Looking through the pictures, looks pretty decent. Guy says stock 80 cubic inch engine, 5-speed transmissions, no issues, runs and shifts as it should. If it's listed, it's available. Clear South Carolina title. $4,800. It's not a screaming deal, but probably priced pretty fairly. Pretty sure that it's sold, but I did see and was very, very seriously thinking about. I found an 83 FXR on here with a Shovelhead that was like $3,800 with a clean title. Maybe wishing I had gone and bought it, but I had a lot of other things in my life that needed money more than that. Looks like we're not finding a lot of FXRs right now, so the next thing I want to try is let's just type in Shovelhead. We'll start off with this one. This is a chopper. This is actually for sale by my buddy Brian. He's been dating my cousin for the last couple of years, and he lives about 45 minutes to an hour away from me. This is a slab side Shovelhead. Pretty freaking sweet. So shout out to Brian if you guys are interested in that bike. Brian Lane. You can find him on social media at FastLanePan. And Brian is all the time buying and selling vintage Harleys, so holler at him. Other shovels. This one, this green bike's been on here, this FLT, for 4 months. You can see I've actually got it saved. The description of it says it's a FLT 5-speed 81. Doesn't run due to an electrical issue. Fixer upper project, 4,000 or best offer. Pickup near Camden, South Carolina. Y'all know that I mostly like FX bikes more than FL bikes, but I wouldn't mind having an FL. This thing looks like it's in pretty decent shape. It's got like an old school, you know, graphics paint job. As you see, I'm swiping through these pictures. There's skulls and stuff in the fuel tank. Is it perfect? No. Does it not run? Yes. But $4 grand for a complete Shovelhead or best offer, again, I'd probably, with it having been on there for 4 months, if I could actually get a hold of them and get them to answer the phone, I'd show up with a trailer and a fistful of cash, and I'd offer them $3 grand. And if we could negotiate and meet somewhere in the middle, hopefully closer to my end, I'd feel pretty good about that. Speaking of FL style bikes, here's one. We got a 77, kind of a purple-ish color there. This is up in Elkin, sort of outside of Mount Airy, North Carolina. You know, Andy Griffith. Our listing says everything's new on it, from the paint job to the clutch, brakes, battery, wires. Was redone this year. Belonged to my husband when he was alive. Clean and clear title. $6,500 is what they're asking, what this lady is asking. There's probably going to be some people who say, $6,500, that's way too much, that's a $4,000 bike. Those days are gone. I did a video about this like 2 years ago about the true cost of a Shovelhead these days, and the days of buying like clean running, riding, good condition bikes for, you know, $2 grand or $3 grand are just absolutely gone. Like a $4,000 bike's a project. $6,500 for this, if it really is, you know, pretty much complete, ready to go, doesn't need anything, I don't think you could do too bad on that. You could pretty easily buy a $4,000 project Shovelhead and sink another $2,500 into it. Again, I'd probably go offer them $5,500, and you know, if I could steal that bike for that, I'd be happy with it and ride it home. All right, let's look for some Ironheads now. Ironheads are typically pretty cheap. They will sometimes command a little bit more of a price than an Evo Sportster, but they're never anywhere close to Evo Big Twin or Shovelhead prices in my experience. Usually you can find Ironheads really, really cheaply, though a lot of times you get your work cut out for them. An Evo Sportster of the same price is always a better buy than an Ironhead Sportster, just because the Evo is probably going to be in better shape and hasn't been owned by 16 different meth head tweakers before you get your hands on it. But let's see what we can find. Here's a 75 Ironhead. Guy has a video of it running. He says, brake master cylinder rebuilt, new brake lines rebuilt, front brake, all fluids changed. Or best offer, open to trades, $3,400. Let's make these pictures a little bit bigger. That's blue. I don't think that's a bad looking bike. Definitely some things on it that I would change if it was mine. $3,400, maybe a little bit steep. I don't know. At this time of year though, when stuff's hard to sell, again, you show up with some money, you can probably bring that bike home fairly cheaply. Here's an 82, so a late model Ironhead. This looks like a pretty complete, you know, fairly original bike. It's up in Danridge, Tennessee. It's listed for $2,800 and it's been up for 2 months. So probably they haven't had a whole lot of interest in it as we swipe through these pictures here. And we'll read the listing here. New battery, tires, clutch, 4Control kits, S&S Super E, original paint, runs and rides great, 2 seats, solo, and 2-up pillow top, which is what they're showing in this picture here is the 2-up seat, and then there's their solo seat. I like it better with the 2-up seat myself. That looks like a Corbin Gentry seat, which is almost identical to the one that's on my 83. I like that bike a lot. That looks like something you could probably just get on and ride anywhere, and it hasn't really been molested too badly. $2,800, it's been for sale for 2 months. Hey, go make him an offer on it. Okay, so I could probably sit here and browse Marketplace all day for old Harleys, but I want to try and keep this video, you know, kind of short and sweet and to the point. And basically, I was just wanting to give you all a really quick live just view at some stuff that I found that I think is decent deals or good deals. There wasn't anything on there right now that was like just an absolute screaming deal, but that does bring me to like how I want to close this video out, which is why is right now, January or so, the best time to buy an old bike? Well, it's pretty obvious. It's cold. People aren't thinking about going riding motorcycles in November, December, January, and February. So those are always the best times to buy a motorcycle. In fact, I think the best time to buy a bike is sort of the end of November, start of December. It's cold. People are just starting to put bikes up for sale as they're like maybe trying to come up with some quick last minute cash for Christmas. And I'm not trying to take advantage of somebody, you know, if they don't have their finances in order and can't buy their kids Christmas, that's on them, not on me. But you can oftentimes grab a really good deal around Christmas time, before Christmas, because people are scrambling trying to get rid of stuff in order to come up with money for that Christmas cash. Failing that, if you make it past Christmas and into the new year, which is where we're at now, I'm filming this the second week of January, there's still some really good deals to be had. Oftentimes those bikes that were posted in November or December and haven't sold. You saw a lot of those bikes, like that last Ironhead we looked at in Tennessee, had been posted for 2 months. Now they're sitting around and people are looking at them like, damn, I really wish I could sell this thing and get some money out of it. So if it's been sitting around for a while, you see it's already been marked down, show up with a trailer, show up with cash in hand, look the bike over, find some things, nitpick it a little, say, hey, this is leaking, or this is dry cracked, or this will need to be replaced, or I don't like this, or this is incorrect, and just sort of rattle that stuff off to the seller. Don't be a jerk about it, but, you know, just respectfully say, all right, well, I like the bike, but I found a few things that'll need attention, and then make them a reasonable offer. I try not to lowball people, because I don't like being lowballed myself, but and I think you'll find in dealing with people that if you start with something reasonable, sometimes they'll just go ahead and take it. They won't even haggle back with you. But if they do haggle back with you, if you started, you know, somewhere reasonable, generally people are in a better mood to haggle with you. For example, someone is asking $3 grand for a bike. If you show up and say, I'll give you $1,500 for it, they're probably not going to let you have it for half price, and they're probably not going to be in a good mood because you just insulted them with a 50% offer. So the chances of them coming back to you in a good, positive way where y'all can meet in the middle, where both people and both parties feel happy with the deal, is less than if you were to say, hey, I'll give you $2,000 for the bike. Maybe you offer them $2,000, maybe they do take that. If they don't, maybe y'all can agree on $22,000 or $23,000. You just kind of have to feel the person and the bike out, but that's how I sort of do things. I like to try and buy stuff right now, though I haven't bought anything this winter other than that tractor I just bought about a month ago. I'm kind of covered up in Harley projects without a lot of time to work on them. So I just wanted to make this video. Maybe y'all can learn something from my little bit of experience buying, selling, fixing, and flipping these bikes. And while it's still ripe for the picking, go out and get a good deal of your own. I'm not going to get any lately. Y'all won't see any new motorcycles on this channel. You're just going to, hopefully, within the next couple of months, watch me get everything that I need to get fixed. I've got 2 that I need to have fixed and ready to sell in the spring, which brings me to how I want to close this video out. If you're selling a bike right now and you're frustrated, don't be. You're going to be frustrated at this point in time. Wait it out, please. Unless you absolutely have to have the cash, just wait. March and April are generally the best time to sell motorcycles. April's probably better if you're somewhere cold. March is pretty good here in South Carolina because the days are starting to warm up. People are getting hopeful. The sun's shining, you know, grass is starting to turn green again. Little flowers are starting to poke their little heads up, and you know, folks are thinking about getting behind the bars of a motorcycle and catching some wind in their face and some bugs in their teeth. So you can sort of sell them that dream at a higher price than you could back in the fall. I've had that happen many times. I've listed a motorcycle for sale in, say, September, which is still really good riding weather here in South Carolina. And I've ended up having to sit on the bike through the winter. Then I've relisted it again in like March or April, increased the price by a couple $100s, and ended up selling those bikes for the asking price. So fall and winter, worst time to buy a bike. Spring and summer, best time to sell a bike. Hope you learned something. Hope you've enjoyed this. For everybody who watches this channel, thanks for watching. Appreciate all of y'all. See you on the next one. Bye.